Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2014 Mercedes E350 Cabriolet. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6 and down below is a 7-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this E350 for a couple of reasons, but mainly the fact that I think this is actually a really good buy on today's market. This car is 10 years old and we'll talk about that later on. But I think if you're gonna buy a German luxury car, especially a convertible, this might be one of the best options. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 3.5 liter V6. Well, that starts off the great attributes of the Mercedes E350 because it is reliable. It's a very basic engine, makes about 302 horsepower, which is great, but it's not an AMG engine. It's not a fire-breathing engine. It's not gonna tear up your guts or your checkbook. So that's a very good spot to be in. And I've talked to several Mercedes techs and they say of the recent era, this is one of the best V6s and best Mercedes engines you can get. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 7-speed automatic transmission. Nothing too crazy here. Again, relatively simplistic for Mercedes. They were using a lot of 7 speeds in this era, so not bad at all. And last but not least, this particular Mercedes E350 is rear-wheel drive. However, you could find other E-classes in all-wheel drive. This is rear. How does it feel to drive the E350 Cabriolet? It's great. Really, really comfortable. It's smooth. It's sporty enough. You know, you poke the bear enough times, it'll roar. But I wouldn't go out and shout and say, oh, this is a sporty car. It has sporty attributes, but I've also been known to run a lap or two on a track. I wouldn't consider myself athletic. Visibility is great, especially with the top down. Steering is nice, light, and friendly, and overall, it's a really nice time. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 3 gauge areas. Off to the left is my fuel and coolant temperature. In the center is my speedometer, along with a digital readout, and off to the right is my tachometer. I really like how clean and simple these gauges are. It's before everything turned digital and into the screens, so they're easy to read. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our go back button. And off to the right, we have our volume and phone options. To the left, we have a climate control vent, our fog light and headlight switches, along with our parking brake. And on the door, we have our memory seat options, our power adjusting seat options, lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do get a smaller infotainment system. This is really nothing to note. It's nothing special, cool, or particularly good for the modern era, but it has an infotainment and it does have a backup camera, which wasn't legally required for another 4 years, so it's nice that it has that. Down below, we do have 2 climate control vents and a analog clock. Very, very nice to see that. I almost want the wristwatch version of it. And then we have our radio with all of its assorted buttons. This was nearly peak button for Mercedes, so if you want to do something, there's a button for it. And if you don't want to do something, well, there's also a button for that. However, down below, we have our heated seat options, our heated headrests. So this is Mercedes air scarf system that actually blows hot air on the back of your neck. So if you're driving on a cold night with the top down, you don't get too chilly. Hazard switch, eco button, and then this button that I have no idea what it does, so I'm gonna add it in post voiceover. All right, so what this button does is it's actually for the seatbelt presenters. I hadn't seen this before. You can manually push this button and it will present you with the seatbelt. Now, when you get in the car and start it, it will automatically do this, but it sort of times out after a little while and they go back in even if you haven't buckled up yet. Now, once you buckle up, they go back automatically. So if it has done that, you can manually present them again. Kind of a cool little quirk. Then we have our climate controls down below for auto, max, zone, recirculating, all of those goodies. And we get little digital readouts, dual zone for that as well. Really, really nice to see all of that. And then we have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what we like to call in the business a pass. Then we have an openable ashtray and cigarette lighter. We have our controls for the infotainment screen, as well as our headrests up and down, our sport and eco mode button. And then we have right here by your palm a little openable cubby that reveals the top options. So one button is for all of the windows and the other button is for the top. Now, I will not be showing the top operation because on this particular vehicle, the top sometimes tends to stick and can sometimes break. So for the owner's sake and for my own sake, I will not be showing that operation. That's something you'll have to come to terms with an older vehicle. My rule of thumb is that if it's older, 10 years old, I try not to do it. Then we do have a center console and the seats. The seats are nice leather seats. They are heated with heated headrests. Those are those vents that you see. Really, really cool. The air scarf system, absolutely love that. And the seats are very comfortable. It's a very relaxed driving feel and experience. I would feel right in place driving this out to the country club to hit the links for a little bit. However, speaking of seats, we unfortunately for me do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. Fun fact for those at home, if I'm ever wearing sunglasses in the video, like while I'm driving, it's a convertible. I've made that rule for myself that I'll only wear the sunglasses on my face if it is a convertible. So, fun little Easter egg for you. Anyway, getting back here. No good. These back seats are not good. I do have some storage and cup holders back here. I do have a Harman Kardon speaker by my left elbow, but that's really all this back seat is good for, is holding a speaker, not a human. I would not want to ride back here for too long. The seats themselves are very hard. They're not spacious. Yeah, that's it. It's just not good. But, I mean, no convertible back seat. I'm trying to think. Like, obviously, the Jeep Wrangler, in my book, doesn't really count. Any coupe convertible doesn't have a good back seat. Maybe the Murano Cross Turismo. No, not Cross Turismo. The Murano Cross Cabriolet. Maybe that had a good back seat. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while. But either way, this ain't good. No good. Let's move on. All right, around the back of the E350, we do have a trunk button here. Pop it up like that and pull it up the rest of the way. Decently deep trunk because this has had the spare tire removed. But other than that, not crazy. The convertible top does eat into the space quite a bit. So don't anticipate using this as a U-Haul or bringing your California King across the country with you. It is a small trunk. It'll probably fit a golf bag, and that's about it, which is what it was designed to do. Now we got to talk about the looks, and this is going to bleed into my final thoughts segment, but I think this car looks really, really good. I think personally, if I didn't know much better, if I wasn't a car reviewer as my day job, if I wasn't so in the industry, if I saw this when walking onto a Mercedes lot, I would think that it was the new model. I think this has aged incredibly gracefully. So gracefully that, well, you'd fool me. And like I said, of course I know that this isn't the new model, but I think a lot of people would. And so that's wonderful because these could be had for under $10,000 in today's market, and you get something that does look like you have money when, well, you kind of don't. And by kind of, I mean you don't. You don't have money. This car looks so good. For a 10-year-old car, this is me in 2014. This is what I was doing. I was a sophomore going into junior year of high school. I didn't have my YouTube account. I had 0 subscribers, approximately $0 in my bank account. I had no job, and yet this car still looks so modern in 2024. That is some really good design from Mercedes. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Mercedes E350? Why did I want to drive one of these for the channel? Well, first of all, I'll never turn down some fun in the sun. I love convertibles, and any chance I get, I'm gonna drive a convertible. But the second and more main and more serious, more grown-up reason is the fact that I think that these are really great deals. Just to run through that checklist for you real quick. Reliable engine. The 3.5 liter is going to be a good engine, at least in terms of a German vehicle. No superchargers, no turbochargers to worry about. German unreliability is for sure a thing, but it doesn't have to be here with the E350 Cabriolet. I think the technology in here is fine enough. You have a backup camera, you have the heated, ventilated, and power memory seats, all of that. You have all of that together. It's also got a 7-speed automatic, so you're not running around. I mean, some cars in this era were still 5-speed, or God bless, not too long before this car, they were still using 4-speed automatics. And as I talked about for probably way too long, it looks great. I think it really truly looks fantastic. And people always ask me, I want a car that makes it look like I have money when I don't. This is it. If you want a college car that'll give you just a little bit of notoriety on campus without spending an arm and a leg, this is a great, great buy. You get that Mercedes badge, you get to throw that Mercedes key on the bar at Red Lion in Champaign, Illinois and say, yeah, I drive a Benz. And you're not lying, and you're also not really pretending to be anything else because this is a great Mercedes product. So, with all of that being said, I really like this car. I think it's good to buy, and I hope this has helped you either on your search or if you're just a big fan of E350s, thanks for checking out the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Marcel for letting me take out his E350 for today's video. Marcel was wonderful to work with. I appreciate him driving quite the distance in order for me to review it and meeting up during his busy schedule. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.